received KCSE. The results were presented to the head of state by Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha. That is at a briefing attended by Head of Public Service Dr. Joseph Kinyua, Early Learning and Basic Education PS Dr. Julius Juan, and TSC CEO Nancy Macharia and her NEC counterpart Mercy Karogo. President Kenyatta congratulated the 2020 KCSE candidates for a great performance despite the challenges posed by COVID-19 and thanked the education sector stakeholders for the smooth administration of the examinations. Let's take a look at what played out then. Well, still on that, and the same event, the president witnessed the swearing-in of Professor Fatuma Chege as the principal secretary of the new State Department for Implementation of Curriculum Reforms within the Ministry of Education. The head of state expressed confidence in Professor Chege's ability to steer the ongoing rollout of the new curriculum.
And now, what we seek is for you to use that expertise, that knowledge that you have, together with your colleagues, to oversee the successful implementation of our new curriculum.
And even before we get to ponder on the results upon release, it's important that we also engage education stakeholders as educationists so that they can also tell us their expectations. I mean, gauging from that story that I just read, or the very first story, President Uhuru Kenyatta congratulating these candidates for having performed well, then we can all cross fingers that indeed the performance is as good as we await this particular release. Remember, as I have mentioned, this is slated, or this was supposed to be released by 12:30 midnight today, but then again, preparations are still underway, and we'll be following up on this to make sure that you're updated. Happening in Mitihani House in Caledonia on Dennis Pritt Road, and so we'll keep you up to speed on that. Joining me so that at least we can try and ponder on what to expect is Mwalimu Victor Wanga. Victor Wanga is a teacher at Upper Hill High School that is in Nairobi. He joins us via Skype to, of course, tell us the expectation of his specific school and generally all the students who sat for the KCSE examinations, and equally we'll be having an educationist, Anne Muchoki, who's also on standby for the same. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and creating time at this particular point. Well, we get a hold of Anne Muchoki as we proceed with the broadcast. But Victor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Mwalimu, for finding time to speak to us this afternoon. Your expectations for the day?
Yeah, as a teacher who has been preparing the candidates for over 4 years, we have very high expectation. We are like an expectant mother who is about to give birth. We expect our candidates to give us the best according to what they've worked for close to 4.5 years. The candidates that have been affected by the pandemic, but we are focused to seeing the best results out of them, depending on individual effort. And because as teachers did our role, and we really expect the best out of the current candidates despite the pandemic.
Well, and like you rightfully put it, the pandemic is here, and this process had its fair share of troubles based on what it is that we've seen right from the word go. The allegations of cheating, we had seen at some point in time also some examiners facing the wrath, actions of the law upon these allegations, or fair share of troubles for the examiners who were marking the exams, complaints that they had not received their allowances, or the allowances were taking long to get to them, difficulties at this point when they were running the processes. Of course, the COVID-19 situation for the students who had it so hard to, even imagine the fact that they were out of school for almost a year, close to a year, and coming back to this. We have seen other students going through tough times, especially those ones in the likes of Baringo, because of the difficult times and the harsh weather moments. We have also seen, the very same number of students that registered to sit for these particular examinations were not lucky enough to probably find their way, or like the entire lot did not manage to get back to that. Do you suppose then that the teachers, the education fraternity, the students themselves, the parents will be confident on what has played out in terms of these examinations and also the results that they will receive?
Yeah, sorry, I can say that the exams that were done, even though there could have been challenges during the process, but most of the exams were done with a lot of integrity, and I suppose the teachers did their role from invigilation of exams. By the time we prepared the candidates, invigilated exams, marking of exams within time. And so I really do expect to see a good results. And of course, if there were any cases of alleged cheating, we would be able also to get the brief from the education CS, Professor Magoha, so that we'll be able to know. But I don't think that has really affected the integrity of exam, because most of the places around the country, it might have been alleged, but I don't think whether there was any real exam leakage throughout the country. But let's wait. I would not be able to preempt till we are given the evidence that could be there.
And speaking of preempting, I think I think we took it a little bit fast. Mwalimu, probably I should have started by engaging you on what the situation was like for the students, coming back to school after quite a long time, away, and trying to just figure out how best they can still keep abreast with matters education, the conversation of digital learning, the discrepancies that played out, that is in 2022, upon that declaration that students will be out of school after the first case of COVID-19 was registered in the country. Do you suppose then that it was a friendly environment, or it was probably a fair environment for them to sit for the examinations?
Yeah, the pandemic affected everyone worldwide, and not just students, but even teachers were affected. But what I can say is that there's a lot of impact of the pandemic on the performance of students. We expect to see that there was those students who were able to engage in digital learning, some were not, because of even the societal discrepancy in terms of the economic level. A student who is able to access internet to be able to learn, and a student who has no access to it at all. And other students probably also dropped out of school. I was just looking at analysis of the KCP. The pandemic affected the candidates to a tune of 12,000 candidates, not managing to do exams, that is KCP. We'll be able to know with the KCSE the level through which that has affected. But I can tell you teachers did their role, doing a lot of counseling to just make sure that these candidates have stable mind to be able to be back to school and learn, despite the many challenges. A number of them were exposed to many things. I can't say that boys that I teach, because I teach boys-only school, there were lots of cases of indisciplined students who probably, because of the exposure and lack of guidance, no teacher around, the parents could be there, but you see, when a student is out for close to 6, going to 8 months, you never know what happens, especially with the busy parents. So I would say that the pandemic has had a lot of impact on the candidates of the 2020. Since you can even talk of the girl child, a number of girls were reported to have been married off, or some became pregnant. Yep. And we hope the ones that were able to come and do exams did it perfectly well. And that is my prayer as we wait for the results.
Well, I would say it is the prayer for every other person. We have been talking about 100% transition, and I'd want to believe that when we talk about 100% transition, then we seek to see even the people who transition, or the students that transition, say from class 8 to Form 1, should go all the way to Form 4, clear school, and maybe find their way back, find their way to probably vocational training processes, or even to universities. And then the biggest question would be, we raise pertinent issues as to the fact that many students did not find a chance to go back to school and maybe sit for their examinations. And generally speaking, this has been a cause of worry. No clear data presented to us so far. Do you suppose the Ministry of Education has handled this with the utmost of interest of making sure that indeed every other child gets the chance to go back to school and get that opportunity to sit for their examinations? And in the event that they were not able to achieve that, do you suppose they should make adjustments to make sure that they get to have the data of where all these other students who were not able to sit for their examinations are?
No, definitely. I think there was even an order from the Ministry of Education that all the students should be accounted for. So from every village to the village elders to the chiefs to everyone, if there was a case of a candidate who probably was married off or a student who did not make it back to school, a lot of follow-up should have been done to make sure that at least all the candidates sit for exams. And the whereabouts, so that at least there's need for accountability. Because I can tell you that any society where education is not given a priority, just like the former MP for Kibra used to say that when you open schools, you are closing prisons. The moment the schools were closed, then many other societal ills took place in our society, and a good number of students were affected. The same students that left last year in March, I know the same students who came back late into the year. It's necessarily the ones who reported in January. A lot of things changed. That state of idleness and students just being there, it really had a lot of impact. But there's need for accountability to make sure that all the candidates in the country are accounted for, and if they did not do exams, a bit of follow-up need to be done so that at least we can be able to help them either get back to school or to see the way forward to reduce the cases of such come the year 2021. But it's been a period that I can't say that it's not been easy. Students who lost their parents to COVID, parents lost income, and so this has had a lot of multiplier effect on the education sector. Teachers also lost their lives. I can remember a number of principals and even classroom teachers dying to the pandemic. So that has also had an effect. So as we look at it about the students who did exams, we also look at it on the impact that it has had on teachers. Because from the look of it, from the education sector, teachers are the essential service provider, just like in the health sector, because there's a lot of exposure to the teachers to an extent that a teacher, when you interact with your student, can definitely tell you that it was. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Definitely say that there's a lot of exposure to the teachers, even social distancing and all that. When all the other students came back from Form 1 to Form 4, it was not easy, even implementing the social distance and at the same time reminding students to put on masks all the time. At times they forget, and that this exposes them. But you see, the younger ones are not so much predisposed to the coronavirus compared to the teachers, especially the age teachers. So this has had an effect. But generally, we do hope that the candidates that did exams will be able to see good results from them. The period between October and December last year was a very good period that made us to actually reconnect the candidates back to classroom after a long time. Back in January, they had other students and things were going on normally. So we do expect that the results that we are going to see will truly reflect the true picture of the performance of the candidates, depending on the effort made and the level of preparedness.
Well, and speaking of which, I would love to loop you in on the aspect of the smooth process and how fast this has happened. But just let us keep ourselves up to tabs in regards to some facts as to the examinations and number of candidates that sat for these examinations or this year's examination. Is that 752,933 had registered in about 10,473 centers. We still are yet to get clear numbers in regards to the people who sat for these examinations, because remember, those are the numbers of the individuals that registered, 752,933, but not all of them were able or were lucky enough to sit for the examinations, and therefore we'll be here on standby to give you the number. And of course, number of candidates, a couple of them were not able to sit for the examinations for various reasons. Baringo, of course, the difficult times, the rainy moments, and some of these students who were pregnant or got pregnant on at this particular time when they were home in 2020, courtesy of COVID-19, and teachers or the examinations that were on board, 27,284. And of course, we've seen some of the students or schools losing their own principals, and then there's so much that we're looking at that. We are having our very own education reporter, that is Sharon Baranga, on standby, Diani House, so that she can also keep us up to tabs as to what is happening there. Sharon, if you can hear me.
Thank you, Linda. We are currently at the Kenya National Examination Council, where the 2020 KCSE results are going to be released any time from now. And earlier on, the CS and his team were at State House, where they briefed the president on the results before they converged here at Mtihani House. And now, any time from now, they are going to be releasing the results. The grounds are set, and if I can just step aside for my camera person to just pan, where you can see that is the main tent where the Education CS is going to sit. And as you can see, we already have the CEO of Teacher Service Commission, Nancy Macharia. We also have the Principal Secretary for Basic Education, Dr. Julius Juan. And we just have a number of education stakeholders who have already arrived. We have principals from a number of schools who are already here, ready to receive the 2020 KCSE results. Now, this class of 2020 was greatly affected by COVID-19, as we can remember that in October last year, it's when these students reported to school. The class, that is the candidates for both Class 8 and Form 4, they reported to school in October, and a number of the schools actually reported COVID-19 cases. We also have schools that lost teachers to COVID-19, and it will be interesting to see how the students will have performed during this year's KCSE results. And another thing that we can remember is that apart from COVID-19, we also have a number of candidates who could not sit the exams because they were displaced either by Mother Nature, as we can remember Lake Baringo swelling and taking with it some schools. Some of those candidates could not be traced. We also have insecurity cases that were reported in a number of areas. So it will be interesting to see how, in fact, public schools will perform compared to private schools, because again, during the COVID-19 year, when schools were closed for months, a majority of students in public schools could not access online learning, and we know that learning moved to online when COVID-19 came in place, and a number of students in public schools could not access learning. And so it will be interesting to just see how the performance between public and private schools will turn out to be. And as we can remember, during KCPE, public schools actually outperformed private schools. Now, apart from that, we are also going to find out whether we are going to have some candidates who will have their results cancelled, because we had a number of cases of examination or center managers who tried to expose the exam before the time that was intended for these candidates to sit the exams. So we are not yet sure whether we are going to have candidates who are not going to be receiving their results today. But what we know is that the government already moved in swiftly. Some of those center managers were arrested and investigations commenced immediately. So we will be right here, ready to update you and inform you as the exam results for the 2020 KCSE students, that is over 700,000 who registered to sit this year's KCSE examinations. We will be here to inform you on how the students would have performed, because the Education Cabinet Secretary will be here any time from now to announce the results. Back to you, Linda.
Well, definitely we'll be keeping you up to tabs on that, and we're looking forward to get more details from you and Sharon Baranga. We're still back with Victor Wanga, who's a teacher at Upper Hill. And Victor Wanga, before we looped in Sharon, this would have been my question in regards to the timings, and we've been here long enough to have seen how, you know, the processes of marking examinations were back then and how it has changed over time, pretty much of a very short time. And within this short period, we have the examinations out and ready, or the results out and ready. Well, the Ministry of Education confirming to us that the process was smooth and, you know, equally with intense supervision by top government officials, including PS of Interior Karanja Kibecho and a couple of other. Do you agree, or would you exhibit confidence that indeed, despite the fact that this has been done in such a short time, then we are guaranteed of the exact, you know, results of what it is that would be genuine for the students who sat for these examinations?
Well, definitely, I would say that we expect credible results. Otherwise, without credibility, then that result should not be there. Because the effort that the educational stakeholders have put, starting with the ministry to the council, that's NEC, to our employer, the Teacher Service Commission, by deploying the teachers to various examination centers to participate in invigilation, then again marking. I can definitely tell you that the teachers have done superb work. It was quite a short time, and it was quite intense. I can definitely tell you that the teachers really strained to ensure that the exercise is done within the shortest time possible. And so we would really want to appreciate the effort of teachers in delivering this result in the shortest time possible. And that makes it even more credible to guarantee less manipulation and actually zero manipulation, because we expect the right results to be released. Unlike those days when results could take months, marking ends in December, then the results are released in March. Mm-hmm. You do not what was going on in between, whether there was manufacturing of grades or whatever was taking place. So these are very commendable efforts that we can really talk about since the tenure of the current CS, that is Professor Magoha at the NEC leadership. Then when he moved to the ministries, continued to be implemented. Of course, Matiang'i being the education CS, several other things changed, and this is very commendable. The education sector has really gotten very effective leadership to ensure that everything is delivered, and that cannot be guaranteed without committed and hard-working teachers whom despite the pandemics, they have really been there just to ensure that this is delivered. So the country today would really expect good results, so that as we deliver the cohort of the 2020 candidates go moving to various institutions, that is universities, middle-level colleges, to other educational institutions, the teachers have played their role, and we really expect even our government to appreciate the effort of teachers by just considering teachers as essential service providers. So when you are giving even risk allowance to health workers, think of teachers too. Should not frozen salaries, salary increment, thinking that teachers are not exposed. In fact, the hundreds of thousands of teachers are really exposed to an extent that you can't do any other thing apart from teaching. So, and we also have families. When Corona strikes, what happens? So we really believe that as a teacher, we've done our best. And so the buck now stops to the NEC to release the credible results and our students to get it back. Then after that, they plan for the results. that is going to be a determinant to their futures, for those who are going to be doctors, for those who are going to become teachers like myself, those who are going to mid-level colleges to be artisans, and any other faculty in education, so that at least we prepare our society towards the industrial revolution and meeting the vision 2030. And of course, as teachers are prepared to go through the training to ensure that the CBC, when it reaches high school, we are really prepared to handle it. I can say that we as teachers, even as the schools open today, teachers across the country are already prepared back to school. Now the buck stops with the ministry to ensure that there is smooth running of those schools, by ensuring that they release the funds towards free secondary and primary education, and to ensure that we also be able to continue implementing the COVID protocols, enough sanitation within the schools, all those require resources. So they also must take into consideration that the economy is not doing well. The cost of living has gone high, the cost of fuel and every other thing. And this has got multiply effect on the teaching fraternity and even education as a whole. Cost of transporting a child to school is gone higher. So we are in support to ensure that the society moves on, because education can never wait. We can't wait for education. That the pandemic will end, that's when the education will continue. So it's an essential service to our people.
Right. In terms of dealing with COVID-19, well, teachers have been considered to be individuals that are eligible to getting the vaccination processes. Do you suppose then this has been handled, in the best way possible? Do we have teachers taking advantage of the same, all this, like you have rightfully put it, towards making sure that, well, we tame the spread of COVID-19, especially in our very own schools, which, are vulnerable spots?
Yeah, of course, teachers have been going to various hospitals to get the vaccine. Myself, I've gone and already vaccinated at Coptic, but there are cases whereby teachers go to various hospitals and they don't get the vaccine. They have ran out, or people are so many, and related stuff. So I think if it's possible for the government to help us move further, it's even good to take the vaccine to schools. When the schools reopen, they can even organize for every sub-county to have at least some place whereby teachers can be vaccinated. Then also to see how to go about the myth of the vaccine having an effect on people and all that. But generally, I feel that a lot of things needs to be done so that the teachers are really protected from the vaccine. And because when we are protected, we will also ensure that the students are protected. But at the end of the day, the many thousands and millions of students in Kenya are protected from the vaccine. Because implementation of the COVID protocols will not be easy when we have sickling teachers. Mwalimu akigonjeka, what happens? It becomes very difficult to even handle the students. So I agree with you that the teachers should take advantage of the government offer to take the free vaccine, and then after that wait for the second rollout to get the second vaccine when it reaches. So back to you.
Yes.
I think we can be able to.
Thank you so much for that. Still, 2-3 questions before I let go of you. On the aspect of now the current calendar as it stands, there's a lot of confusion. Parents are still not clear on what really is playing out. We have seen our students, done with KCPE. Probably it's not clear on when they get back to school. What has been done towards preparing for the same, especially at this point now that we have our students resuming classes up until somewhere in July? I mean, they'll be sitting in for about 10 weeks before they take a break.
Yeah, thank you so much. Form 1s to Form 3s are coming back this week, and they'll be in school up to July, late July, and I think that applies to Class 1 to Class 7 except Grade 4. The CBC candidates, students who are joining Class 5, but by end of
July, the 26th. July, yes.
Form 1s, that is the current KCP candidates who have just gotten their results, will be joining Form 1 in July, the end of July too. So that the new academic year starts end of July, and it will run the first term, moves on like that. Then the next candidates, that's the current Form 3s, will now be joining Form 4s in July, so that they move further to do the exam next year. I think it's the year 2022 when we are likely to have 2 candidate classes. The current Form 2s and the current Form 3s are likely to do their KCSE the same year. Where we'll have, is it the same year? No, sorry. But the current Form 3s are going to do their exams almost the same period where the current Form 4s have done. The candidates that are waiting for their results have done the exam. So the calendar, I think, has been put in such a way that at the end of it all, we'll be able to compensate. It's like a crash program for schools. Yes.
All right, thank you so much. Also, on what we witnessed upon that release of KCPE examinations and KCSE, our very own reporter has highlighted on the problems that were registered back then, private schools crying foul in a way as to how the government or the Ministry of Health handled this. Probably they could be having their antennas up, ready to come guns blazing. Do you suppose that it's going to be a different affair? Do you foresee a scenario where, again, the public schools might perform better than their private counterparts? And then what happens in the event that they kind of feel like they were shortchanged?
I really doubt with the outcry that was there with the private schools, because before, when the results were good for private schools, there was no outcry from public schools. And we really expect that any society, like the Kenyan society, if we really have to manage education well, then our public schools should perform better than private schools. And obviously, from my analysis as an educator and a teacher, I foresee a situation whereby that trend will continue, because many parents decided to take their students from private schools back to public schools. Why? Because of the cost of living. When we are talking of this, then it means some of the top cream students in private schools might have switched to public schools. And because of the cost of taking your students to a public school, when there are enough facilities in public schools, you'd rather have your child in a public school than have them in the private schools because of the cost of living. The economy is not doing well. When the economy is not doing well, tutafanyaje? The teachers, the parents have to take their students to place where they can. Their sons and daughters to places where they're able to afford.
One of the main reasons why most of the parents have opted for private schools, well, we understand also there's been scarcity of the same in regards to having public schools, to close vicinities. But equally, the fact that there's been a question mark on the performance of public schools, on how the teachers are handling education at large. Do you suppose then we're going to have this change phase, and why should it go to that level?
Can you pardon? Did you say public schools or private schools?
Public schools. Most of the reasons, one of the reasons why most parents have opted for private schools is because there's been a general feeling that the private schools perform so well in comparison to public schools, and now they probably are being pushed to this direction of taking their students to public schools because of the tough times of living. Do you suppose there's going to be a change and a shift in terms of quality of education?
I really would want to say that the quality education has since improved. There's a lot of monitoring on how teachers handle most of the things in schools. And generally talking, teachers are doing their work. And the same teachers that are in private schools have been trained in the same colleges. They are all registered by the Teacher Service Commission. So we expect that with enough human resource in the public schools, Public schools are still going to outsmart the private schools, because the top cream, like now let's talk of the secondary schools. The national schools are taking the top cream of the students from the private and public schools back in primary schools. So I don't expect to see much of better resource private schools in secondary school scenario. I expect public schools to actually far much outsmart the public schools.
All right.
And I would not say that because of there's any anomaly, because results are being marked and the data being captured. There's no way somebody can claim at the Kenya National Examination Council denies anyone a mark. No, that is not true. The right results is what is given out to a candidate. And the duration through which that is done, I think the exam is now tamper-proof from any form of manipulation as we talk.
All right. Thank you so much, Mwalimu. Lastly, your expectations for Upper Hill.
Upper Hill School is a great school, and just as I told you, I'm highly expectant of my candidates, that I was handling a candidate class. Expect to see good results from them. Expect to see a number transiting to the universities and mid-level colleges. And despite that, I can still talk to my candidates and many other candidates across the country that despite the results that they are going to get, they should really just be composed and know that that is not the end of the world. The society needs all of us, and so our students should not be so stressed about what has come out as his or our results, but just to see a way forward on how to utilize the results that are going to be released today, so that they are stable in their mind, not to regret a lot, especially at this time of the pandemic. Would rather be able to have them really self-control to see the way forward or the next step of life. And remember, the society does not judge people on the kind of results that they are going to get. Probably a C student or even a D student can start business and become an entrepreneur. You can even start to later on employ an A student who is a doctor. So I believe that we can still do better. Let students really take the results the way they are going to be released, and without fear or favor, let them just be contented with their results and use it to advance themselves in life. But as a teacher, I pray and hope that Upper Hill School will have good results for the 2020 candidates, and we'll appreciate the results that we get today.
All your students, the registered students, sat for the exams?
We had over around 365 candidates.
They were registered and all of them sat for the exams?
Yes.
All right. Well, we wish you nothing but the best. Thank you so much, Mwalimu Victor Wanga from Upper Hill School, for speaking with us. We would be glad to engage you sometimes later, of course, upon that official release of the examinations that is set to be done. Everything in progress, systems underway. We're having Sharon Baranga at Mitihani House here in Nairobi to keep us up to speed, and of course in a short while we'll definitely be getting the results of the same. Remember, the conversations are on as to who this is going to favor, but as Mwalimu would rightfully put it, it is important that we do not look at this as the end of everything. Let's encourage our students, let's give them that psychological support to understand that, well, whatever it is that is the outcome should not be used to reprimand or to be hard on one another or each other. It is important that they are positive about what it is that they will get and speak of the next step of their life. Remember, the KCSE examinations and the candidates that sat or registered to sit for this examination, 752,933. That is in different centers, about 10,473 centers. And of course, we have seen differences across the country, with reports that a majority also, or a couple of students, were not able to sit for the examinations because of the tough times occasioned by COVID-19. Of course, also the battles of Mother Nature, as witnessed in the likes of Baringo, difficult times of floods, and some of these students were not able to access their classes and therefore were not lucky enough to sit for their examinations. Some of them also were not able to go back to school. We witnessed lots of rise of pregnancies or teenage pregnancies at that point of COVID-19, and therefore these were key things that really lagged students behind, coming from tough times, of COVID-19. But all the same, they managed, or the few that managed, we are thankful and we are grateful for them. We say congratulations. As we await for that official results, we have seen the CS of Matters Education, Professor George Magoha, setting foot at the Mitihani House, so that he can officially take us through this process of, announcing the results of the examinations. There you go, the pictures live, and we're having our team on ground to make sure that we are up to tabs in regards to the same. Sharon Baranga preparing a compiled report of this particular session as we are awaiting that official announcement. Remember, the students went for the examinations in March the 26th, 2021, start for the examinations all the way up to April the 21st, 2021, the last paper on computer science and art and design. So this release that is slated to happen any moment from now will speak volumes as to what the face their education sector takes. Remember, it's at a point where we also incorporating the competency-based curriculum and differences in terms of, transitioning. We see that our students are going back to school today. Class 4 remains at home or stays at home up until somewhere in July the 26th. And same applies to the students who sat for their KCPE examinations as they wait to join, that is, secondary schools. And therefore, I'll take you now all the way to Mtihani House. Like I said, Sharon Baranga is on standby to keep us up to tabs, but importantly, we also get to listen in to the release of these results by the CS for Matters Education, Professor George Magoha.
Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuwajibike, tuimarishe. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu.
And while we are still standing, I'll ask Joseph Gidingi to offer the opening prayer.
Let us believe and pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you this afternoon. We thank you, we honor you, because of this very special day, O Lord, a day that has been waited for by our parents, by the candidates and the country at large, even as they are waited for the release of the KCSE 20-year exam. We thank you, Father, because amidst the very many challenges that were in 2020, you were there with us, O Lord. You protected the candidates, you protected their teachers, you protected the country at large. And Father, you are able to give us an opportunity to even deliver the curriculum, and even administer the exams, and even at this particular time, we are celebrating in a day the release of those particular results that Father have been waited for a long time. We thank you for each one of us. We thank you for the day. And we trust that you are going to continue being with us as we have these auspicious days from our Lord. May you guide us, may you lead us. May you bless this country, may you bless the leadership, may you bless the education. Father, may you this is our prayer of faith. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
You may be seated. Asante sana Joseph Gilingi.
Well, official release of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examinations are set to happen any moment from now. Live from the Mitihani House here in Nairobi, Caledonia on Dennis Street Road, as of course we are standby to get these updates coming all the way from the Ministry of Education. We have seen the CS of Education has already gotten to the location. That is Professor George Magoha, and of course this after the exams were presented to President Uhuru Kenyatta today in State House alongside his team, and so we are eagerly waiting to see what plays out different in this particular release. Remember, this at a point when we also have our students going back to school for third term, and they're set to stay there for about 10 weeks before they take a break of about 10 days, and then they'll go back to the next academic year. And so much playing out. We have had all the students going back, apart from those ones who sat for the KCPE examinations, of course, as they await to join a secondary school in July the 26th. And same applies to grade 4 learners, who again will transition to the next class, but then they will go back to school again somewhere in July the 26th. To note, the students who registered for the examinations, 752,933 in different centers, about 10,473 centers, and of course the number of candidates probably went down because of the tough times that were occasioned with the ramifications of COVID-19 in the country. We have seen the flood moments also in areas like Baringo, and most of the students were not lucky enough to find their way back to school, and also if they were of course ready for the same, the conditions could not allow them for that. Most of the students have dropped off school because of early pregnancies. The cases that were registered were quite on the rise, or were quite high. Still not a clear picture of data coming from the Ministry of Education as to how many students were able to sit. Of course, we are hoping to get the same, or a clear picture of the same today upon that release of the examinations. High expectations from different quarters. This coming with its fair share of processes upon that moment where the students started their examination somewhere in March the 26th, 2021, all the way to April the 21st, 2021. Of course, the Ministry of Education has confirmed that there's been smooth running of the marking process. Of course, was done intensely under supervision, or high supervision by government officials, pinpointing the likes of those ones in the interior. That is Interior PS Karanja Kibicho, who was constantly also on the look for the exams, and of course the examinations that were marked in 15 centers within Nairobi. We are all eagerly waiting to see what plays out. Of course, the examiners also had their fair share of complaints, but such, we hope, were definitely addressed, and we are all eagerly waiting to get credible results. And therefore, I take you back to Mitihani House, so that at least we can also get to know what is happening down there as we await the official release of the same.
The Director General, State Department of Education, Mr. Elias Abdi, directors from Teacher Service Commission, directors from our ministry, representatives, the principals, and all the other representatives of people here from the other unions. We have the Private Schools Association and the unions present, the media fraternity covering this function, and those others who have supported us, my colleagues from the Kenya National Examination Council, all esteemed invited guests, good afternoon. Allow me to start by welcoming each one of you to Kenya National Examination Council, and thank you most sincerely for honoring the invitation. Indeed, each one of you has been part of the journey that culminates with the release of the KCSE 2020 examination results today. Ladies and gentlemen, we all know that Kenya National Examination Council started off their 2020 KCSE examination cycle with set goals and timelines. But the advent of COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020 necessitated a lot of changes in examinations paradigm. We therefore take time this morning to thank our Almighty God that with all the uncertainties of the season, the KCSE examination cycle for 2020 is finally complete. After the assumption of physical learning, Kenya National Examination Council immediately embarked on completion of assessment of KCSE examination papers which have a school-based project component for art and design, agriculture, woodwork, metalwork, building construction, and computer studies. The assessment of school-based exams were completed successfully in January 2021. The oral and the AULO and home science practicals were administered thereafter between 8th and 19th March 2021, followed by the administration of the theory papers from 26 March to 21st April 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the success of field administration and the conduct of 2020 KCSE examinations at school level was supported by a dedicated team of 10,943 supervisors, 42,574 individual thousand was in progress. Coordinated by a team of dedicated county and sub-county level. And elected TSC officers, county and collectors, Service Commission. This interagency team worked tirelessly to ensure success of the process of 5 weeks. This sacrifice. The marking of 2020 KCSE candidate answer scripts was successfully undertaken by a dedicated team of 25,135 examiners. Thereafter, a committed team of NEC officers processed the examination results for the candidates, culminating to the release of the same today. Ladies and gentlemen, I also wish to recognize the 747,161 candidates who registered and sat the 2020 KCSE examinations in 10,567 examination centers countrywide. These candidates registered for 31 subjects, which were tested in 77 papers. NEC on the spot ensured that all candidates, including those with special needs and disabilities, as well as those who took examination under other special circumstances, were accorded appropriate opportunity to ensure fairness and equity. We commend these youth for braving a unique period in our history and their compliance to Ministry of Health protocols towards prevention of spread of COVID-19. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I need to thank all stakeholders and the members of the public who supported Kenya National Examination Council in various capacities and the means during the long journey. I wish to reiterate the commitment of Kenya National Examination Council towards the realization of education goals of the country, the Kenya Vision 2030, and other global development goals which we have attested to. With those remarks, I wish to add my remarks, and I wish to pray to the Almighty God to bless each one of you for you corporately, because we are representing institutions and your families in a mighty way. And with those remarks, I will take this opportunity to invite the chair of the council, and may also request him to introduce the council members present. Thank you.
The Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha, the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Education, the Chief Administration Secretary is present, Principal Secretary is present, Council members, NEC Council members, the TSC CEO, Director KICD, Director General, Ministry of Education, directors present, union representatives present, the media fraternity, staff of the Kenya National Examinations Council, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Before I proceed further with my remarks, allow me to introduce members of the Governing Council of NEC. Dr. Julius Juan, thank you. Dr. Nancy Macharia, Professor Charles Songondo, Rosemary Saina, Mr. Festus Kingori, is not there, Colonel Retired Leonard Owambo, Martin Okio, Dr. Mary Gaturu, Dr. Fred Spotter, Dr. Mercy Karogo, and Mr. Peter Rutere. On behalf of the NEC Council, I welcome you for the release of the 2020 KCSE examination results. I also recognize the presence of all of you and extend our gratitude to you for gracing the occasion. This marks the end of the 32nd cycle of the KCSE examination since its inception in 1989. Indeed, for us as a council, this is a landmark in service. Having been tasked with the spearheading assessment and examination of the Kenyan child in the midst of unprecedented global pandemic that has affected many sectors and operations, including education. As you are aware, the effects of the pandemic affected nearly all education assessment boards worldwide, without exception. In some cases, examination processes were disrupted midstream, and some are yet to resume full operations to date. We therefore consider it a great milestone for the Kenya National Examinations Council to have successfully completed the 2020 national examinations. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate the pivotal role of Professor George Magoha, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Education, in this process, for remaining steadfast in his commitment to the completion of the examination cycle. Through his stewardship, the Kenya National Examination Council received the required support from all the relevant arms of the government, thus providing an enabling environment for the conduct of the 2020 KCPE and the KCSE examinations. I wish to assure you all that the Council put in place all measures possible to ensure that the KCSE examination results and certification of the 2020 candidates maintained the global repute that the Kenyan education has gained over the recent years. The Council therefore worked tirelessly to ensure professionalism and integrity throughout the process. In this process, the NEC staff worked diligently around the clock to ensure the prompt availability of all examination requirements. As was the case with many examination boards, field administration of the examination in COVID-19 times was not without unprecedented unique challenges, but the Council navigated successfully. Ladies and gentlemen, this would have not been possible without the support of all of you as responsible stakeholders and process owners. These include the larger Ministry of Education, starting with the Cabinet Secretary, the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government, the Ministry of ICT, semi-autonomous government agencies, associations, unions, and other institutions and individuals who supported NEC throughout the examination cycle. Special recognition goes to the 2020 KCSE examination candidates, their parents, and patriotic members of the public who supported the process by refusing to tolerate examination malpractice by reporting all cases of attempted vice. We as a council wish to urge all law-abiding citizens to fight against all attempts to cheat in examinations, because this not only affects the moral of our future generations, but also growth and development of the country. As I conclude my remarks, I wish to mention that NEC is still on course in rolling out the competency-based assessment in support of the competency-based curriculum at basic education, and envisages to roll out the same at tertiary levels at the appropriate time. With those remarks, I take this opportunity to wish all the 2020 KCSE examination candidates success in their next phase of life and urge them not to focus more on the grades attained in the examination, but instead focus on the selection of the appropriate pathways that steer them towards their future career growth and development. Thank you. At this point, I would like to hand over to the PS, Dr. Julius Joan, to continue with the program. Dr. Joan, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our Cabinet Secretary. Thank you, Chair NEC. We have three of them. Dr. Sarah Ruto, just you can wave. We have Mr. Noor and Madam Mumina. Then we have my colleagues, the PSS. We have Ambassador Nabukwesi, Mr. Cheriot, and Dr. Mokima. Thank you. Allow me also to acknowledge the presence of our colleagues from the Private Schools Association. I saw Mr. Ndora around. Please wave. Oh, thank you. We have colleagues from international schools. I think I saw you together. We have CEOs around here. Some of them have already been mentioned as board members. But allow me to mention Madam Dr. Wahome. Well, Dr. Wahome is the CEO KUPS, that is the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Services. Very critical because the results that are being announced here, the next step for the learners is for them to be selected to the various institutions in the country. That is important because once you get your selection through KUPS, then you can be sure of getting government capitation as well as being able to apply to the Higher Education Loans Board funds. We have the Chair of Parents Association, Mr. Mayu. I saw you around. Thank you. We have the principals of some of our schools. I think they are sitting behind there. Please just wave to the team. Thank you very much. We have many directors from the ministry, directors from TSE, directors from NEC. Please, you can wave. We have colleagues from Kupet and NAT. Because of time, I saw Honorable Mboko Milemba and Honorable Sosion. Ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, allow me very briefly to invite the Chair of the Education Committee in Parliament to just say a word, and then we move on because of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. CS Magoha, your entire team, in the education fraternity, and all members present. Good afternoon. Let me start by thanking God for life and health. There are so many things happening in this world, but by the grace of God, we are alive and healthy. First, I want to congratulate the teachers and the parents and all the stakeholders for their resilience and hard work during a very difficult time. Despite all this, they have been able to excel. The release of the release of today's results mark another milestone in the education sector, which is continuously improving to accommodate all learners and provide fair opportunities for onward transition to institutes of higher learning. We must commend the ministry under the leadership of CS Magoha for real-time release of results. This ensures parents plan on time and end a lot of anxiety for our children. Well done, Bwana CS and your entire team. I want to take this opportunity to thank also His Excellency, the President, and the National Assembly Committee on Education and Research, and the House as a whole, for the recent appointment and approval of one Professor Fatuma Chege, PS Curriculum Reforms and Implementation. This is a very key department because Kenya now is embracing the new education system, CBC. This system is long overdue because it will bring the best in our children by developing their skills and knowledge, and application of the same will ensure our children become better communicators, critical thinkers, among many other things. So Kenyans should now be fully ready to embrace the new education system. TSC, which is also represented here by Madam Nancy, is a very key player. We are going to ensure that they get the necessary support so that they can be able to roll out and train the teachers about the new curriculum. The Education Committee will always support the ministry to develop the right policies, support them through the budget, but also oversight and ensure that every cent is utilized very well. My appeal to leaders, to parents, and all stakeholders is to ensure that our candidates get to the next phase of their education so that they can be able to move on very well in that area. I don't want to say a lot, but I must thank the ministry for what it has done, because now we are able to plan as parents and move ahead. Today I'm accompanied by two very key members of my committee, Honorable Mboko Milemba and Honorable Sosion. I'm sure they're also wearing the hat of the unions that they represent. Honorable Sosion represents NAT, and Honorable Mboko Milemba represents Kupet. And we all know the key role that unions play in this country. Thank you very much, and I'm very honored to be here today when you're releasing the results. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. Before I invite the CEO TSE to make her remarks, I want to mention three things. One is to pay homage to the teachers of this country who gallantly and proudly went to schools when everybody was not sure that we would move on. They did their bit, and what we are doing today is as a result of their great work. Most critically is the fact that we have opened school today, and from what we observed during the pandemic, which is still going on, we realize that our children are safer in school. we realize the critical role that teachers play. Indeed, when His Excellency the President announced that the schools will be opened as scheduled, everybody breathed a sigh of relief. And that shows that our teachers play a critical role in not only the cognitive development of our learners, but in the psychosocial support. We call upon them that as our learners report to school today, they continue with a similar engagement. Allow me to thank the multi-agency team, led here by Commissioner Picho. I hope you are around. This team has been great to us. During the examinations, we kept updating one another almost on a day-to-day basis, on a 24-hour basis, and we don't take it for granted. And we keep pleading with them that as learners report to school today, the continued support from the multi-agency continues so that we ensure our learners are safe. Finally, I want to call on our field officers to ensure that our schools open today, the health and medical protocols are followed to the letter as we did in the previous terms so that schools remain safe. I saw a cartoon in the papers today that indicated learners learning under a tree and the rain falling on them. I want to assure the country that in primary schools this term, the grade 4 pupils are still away, which means in many schools we have some extra space where we can keep social distance while learning. The same applies to secondary schools where we don't have Form 4 students for this term, and therefore again they have some space where learners can sit safely, keeping social distance. I also want to plead with the entire country to provide safe passage for learners as they travel to school. In some areas it's raining very heavily. Let us provide safe passage to those who are traveling school to be boarders, those who are day scholars, whether we are matatu conductors, we are border riders, everybody needs to provide passage and support to the learners. At this stage, allow me to invite the COTSE to make her remarks, and then we move on to the release of the results by the Cabinet Secretary. Karibu sana, Madam Nancy.
The CS, Professor Magoha, all the CSs present, the PSs, Honorable Florence Mutua, and your colleague members of the Education Committee, Honorable Sosion, Honorable Milemba, NEC Chair, and the Council, and the CEO, Director KICD, senior officers from TSE and the Minister of Education, principals of secondary schools present, representatives of unions present, members of the Fourth Estate, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that I'm extremely pleased to see us gathered here today to celebrate yet another successful delivery of the KCSE examination. Given the most difficult circumstances under which this examination was delivered, I wish to thank all teachers who are involved in administering and marking this important exam. As a commission, we honor and celebrate our wonderful teachers for a job well done. Enjoy the accolades, our teachers, because you certainly earned them. And let's clap for our teachers. However, even as we threw accolades their way, I wish to empathize with the 7 teachers who were involved in a road accident near Webuye on their way home from marking the KCSE exams. We wish them quick recovery, and we shall be praying for them. The TSE is impressed with the high rate of COVID vaccine uptake among teachers. As of yesterday, that is Sunday, the 8th, we had 494 teachers vaccinated, constituting 48.9% female and 51% male. It is satisfying to note that majority of the teachers aged 58 years and above have taken the jab from the data we have received from the Ministry of Health. The impressive number has been achieved despite the fact that most teachers have been on the move, either during the administration of the examinations or during the marking exercise. Having concluded the examination period, I beseech all teachers to take up the jab. And as we announced when we were releasing the KCPE, His Excellency the President granted all teachers an opportunity to get the vaccination regardless of age. Please, teachers, let's utilize this gracious opportunity to protect our lives. It is sad to note that so far we have lost 37 secondary school teachers, including 24 principals, 3 deputy principals, and 10 classroom teachers. We do not want to continue losing our teachers. They are very dear to us. So please, whenever you can, we still encourage you to take the jab. As a commission, we continue to do everything possible to ensure teachers lead healthy lives. So far, we have provided full medical insurance cover for COVID-19 related ailments. Further, through our provider, Minet Kenya, we have now created a medical insurance app for our teachers called Walimu Care app that allows teachers to access telemedicine anytime, even from isolation centers or their homes. And what we are telling teachers is that because we know that we are avoiding hospitals sometimes when we can, please use this telemedicine app so that even from isolation or even at school, if the ailment is not so great, then you get in touch with our medical provider, you talk to the doctors, and you can even get prescription from there and further advice from the doctors. The app also ensures access to COVID-19 health tips. You can track your hospital visits, order for medication, and manage your dependents. The list is long among other services, and our teachers are encouraged to use that app. I also wish to announce that the Ministry of Health has accepted our request to open up a vaccination center at TSE headquarters, where teachers who visit our offices can receive the jab. So this center is in addition to the 622 vaccine centers available to teachers in various medical facilities. And again, we are doing everything to ensure that our teachers get the jab as easily as possible and to access that vaccine and still go back to class in time. So as schools open for that term, we shall have less learners in school as grade 4, class 8 and Form 1 will be on their long vacation. I urge teachers to take this opportunity to prepare the 2021 candidates well and also take time to get vaccinated. Remember that we are releasing the 2020 examinations, and 2021 examinations are just coming. And therefore, colleague teachers, let us take this time to prepare these candidates so that they can perform well. During the administration of this exam, a number of cases were reported to NEC, alleging that some teachers contracted either as center managers, supervisors, or invigilators were involved in an unethical behavior of opening examination papers as soon as they were released from the containers. Such teachers, it was reported, would screenshot examination questions using their cell phones before disseminating them either to candidates directly or to people hired to answer the questions on behalf of the candidates. We are very disappointed by these reports, especially when they involve professional teachers. Teaching is a noble profession, and we should uphold the ethics of this profession. In one case, it was alleged that a school principal screenshot questions, disseminated, and even went ahead to post them on her WhatsApp profile. Really unthinkable that one can even put these things on the profile. In yet another case, a senior teacher's cell phone containing screenshots of questions of a paper was recovered as the cell phone was being transported to a candidate who was sitting the examination at a hospital. We have also been notified by NEC of a teacher who posed as an examiner and accessed an examination center. He has since been found guilty by court and jailed. And while he is not an employee of the commission, he is a registered teacher. We have therefore put in place mechanisms to subject him to a disciplinary process with an intention of removing him from the register of teachers. And as a commission, we shall wait for NEC to give us any other evidence that they may have in regard to unprofessional behavior on the part of our teachers, which is actually very regrettable. These 3 cases that I've just mentioned are just a tip of the iceberg, since we have received a number of unbelievable claims of attempted pre-exposure of examination questions over the last couple of years, some involving experienced and respected teachers. We do not support any form of unethical conduct arising from any teacher. Worse, regarding examination malpractices, we shall therefore act decisively and conclusively on errant teachers while upholding the rules of natural justice and the principle of due process as stipulated in the Code of Regulations for Teachers. In doing so, however, we must be extremely cautious to avoid punishing framed-up teachers who could otherwise be sacrificial lambs of the true examination crooks. For instance, we must interrogate allegations of how a teacher can deliberately post smuggled-up questions on her own app WhatsApp page, the consequences notwithstanding. Could there, for instance, be a cartel of examination thieves that access cell phones of innocent examination officials once they have surrendered, once these phones are surrendered to a common point at the examination centers, then using the gadgets to photograph examination papers before attempting to route them to their intended targets? This inexplicable scenario has forced the TSE back to the drawing board to devise ways of accurately identifying the examination crooks beyond reasonable doubt. After initial consultations within and outside of the Commission, we have resolved to devise a waterproof system that will help us to accurately detect, identify, and apprehend perpetrators of examinations fraud while protecting innocent teachers whose gadgets may be misused. We think this will be possible if investigators can examine and conduct a forensic analysis of fingerprints of the people who tamper with examination materials right from when they are released from the containers. To this end, we have resolved to launch a transparent process of biometric enrollment and validation of teachers in all public schools. This will entail enlisting their fingerprints, which can then allow for forensic and intelligence-led investigations in cases where examination papers are tampered with and where cell phones and other gadgets are used to commit examination malpractices. The use of biometric validation will assist in vindicating innocent teachers from being blamed for offenses they did not commit. We are at the tail end of finalizing our consultations with the Office of the Data Commissioner on the rollout of the biometric capture of all teachers. In future, all teachers joining the TSE will undergo the biometric enrollment before they enter our payroll. And this is doing what every other organization is doing. When you go to the bank, you just use your fingerprint and everything, because we do not want our teachers to be accused of what they have not committed, but we will punish those ones who also are involved in the malpractices. In conclusion, I want to say that, as always, the TSE will reward those teachers that NEC will give names who have performed exemplary well and improved in their performance, and we shall recognize them. But let me conclude by my remarks now by thanking the multi-agency team that is behind the success that we are celebrating today. I can't forget our foot soldiers in the process, field officers of the Ministry of Education, TSE, and the security personnel under the Ministry of Interior. I wish to congratulate all the 2020 KCSE candidates and wish them well in their endeavors. God bless Kenya.
Thank you very much, Madam Nancy. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is the hour we have been waiting for. It is therefore my humble privilege to invite the CS Minister of Education, Professor George Magoha, to come and make his remarks and release the 2020 KCSE exam results. Karibu sana waziri.
Chief Administrative Secretaries Dr. Sarah Ruto, Mumina Bonaya, and Hassan Nur Hassan, Principal Secretaries Dr. Julius Juan, Margaret Makima, Alfred Cheriot, and Ambassador Simon Nabukwesi, Teachers Service Commission CEO Dr. Nancy Njeri Macharia, Dr. Florence Mutua, Chair of the Education Committee of Parliament, accompanied by Honorable Winsol Sosion and Honorable Mboko Milemba, Dr. Onsati, Chair of NEC, Mercy Karogo, Acting CEO of NEC, NEC Council members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed excited this afternoon to welcome you all to this event celebrating the results of 747,121 candidates who sat for the 2020 Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education Examinations. Just 3 weeks since we gathered here to release the results of the primary school exam on the 15th of April. Ladies and gentlemen, after looking at the impressive results that have been posted by our 2020 candidates and taking into account the most trying environment in which they prepared for this examination, I am compelled to describe this show in one apt sentence. Their battle was fought with resilience and ended with grace. Indeed, these candidates navigated one challenge after another that has now left us, all of us, with mirthful faces. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our God to thank for all these blessings of success and wonderful children who have defied the COVID-19 pandemic to shine in their examinations. We also have God to thank for giving us a wonderful and wise His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, who has invested a lot in the education sector and has given us all the support, both politically and professionally, through his leadership. The President's guidance over the past 1 year, as we sought to reorganize the academic calendar to ensure that candidates sat the national examinations on time, was not only first class, but most appreciated and cannot be taken for granted, because we had so many experts from all parts of Kenya who knew better. But His Excellency the President was bold enough to open the schools, and today we are celebrating these results. I cannot forget my cabinet colleagues, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, in charge of the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government, and Joe Mucheru, in charge of ICT, Youth Innovation and Youth Affairs. The three of us have effectively coordinated a multi-agency examination monitoring team that has, over the last 5 years, run a credible examination system, which is result-based. I also wish to thank all school teachers, Dr. Nancy Njeri Macharia, for working tirelessly during this period. and wish also to extend this thank you to all the NEC council members and NEC staff, because they know how we have been working, especially over the last 3 days, where we did not have comforts of resting at night. Thanks to the well-coordinated education sector, the candidates whose results we are releasing today can now join TVET institutions, TTCs, medical training institutions, and universities at exactly the same time they have done, the effects of COVID-19 notwithstanding. This way, we have managed to release the candidates to higher institutions of learning on time. I assure all the KCSE candidates who will receive their results today that they all have a better future, one full of hope and shorn of despair. All candidates have a place in our education story. I want to repeat that all candidates have a place in our education story. Our government has ensured that every child in our country has a place to pursue a career, and everyone deserves a chance, and that chance shall be given. We believe that there is no insignificant child, and that no insignificant child has been born in our country, and we must not leave any learner behind. The government has a duty to nurture each of these learners to pursue their dreams, regardless of how low they start to the very top of the academic ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe in this dream, which indeed is what our competency-based curriculum is all about. I am therefore proud to announce that we have created opportunities for academic progression for all the 747,171 who sat the 2020 KCSE examinations. Already the Kenya Universities and the Colleges Placement Service Groups, whose CEO, Dr. Agnes Wahome, is here today. I think you should stand so that they see you properly. Okahaha. Let them see you. This is the new boss for the universities, replacing Thank you. That is Dr. Wahome, brand new, has identified that our universities and colleges and TVET institutions have places for all candidates. All these institutions have disclosed their capacities of enrollment ahead of selection exercise of 2020 KCSE examination candidates, which I have instructed that should start immediately. That instruction is on behalf of none other than His Excellency, the President. The placement service is engaging with the higher education regulatory bodies, Commission for University Education, the Technical and Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVETA, to ensure that all institutions are prepared to enroll these candidates. This is in line with the Ministry of Education's goal of providing fair and balanced access to quality and relevant higher education and training, and His Excellency the President's policy of 100% transition. I have directed the COOPs to ensure proper public mobilization and communication to campaigns are put in place to ensure that all interested candidates apply to colleges and TVET institutions of their choice. As you are aware, the government of the Republic of Kenya will pay for these children, and they will also be available to get help loans. I therefore wish to declare that all candidates who have sat these 2020 examinations have the ability to progress to other levels under the government's plan of zero wastage, 100%. This explains why the government of His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta has spent enormous resources to expand the TVET sector. Let me also re-emphasize that the government has been paying for our children in private universities the same amount that they pay to public universities. And because we want every child to have access, this is going to continue. For instance, the number of TTIs in each constituency has grown from 52 in 2013 to 233 in 2021. Out of the 233 TTIs, 52 are fully operational, 140 have been built, equipped, staffed, and operationalized. 4 of them catering specifically for children with disabilities, and 41 are undergoing construction, and I hope that by the grace and mercy of God, Mwakima, you are here. This is one of the things that you must finish so that they are operationalized this year. In bid to make up for the time that was lost during the prolonged closure last year, we deliberately created a tight academic calendar that enables us to accelerate completion of school terms. Schools that have opened for 2020 third term today are expected to close on the 10th of July and proceed on a week-long holiday, and then, and only then, shall we start a new year. That new year, ladies and gentlemen, entails the rollout of CBC Grade 5. And for the avoidance of doubt, we shall all roll out Grade 5 together, whether you are in private school or public school. Like I said the other time, there's only one government. Upshot of this accelerated calendar will be that we'll have 5 examinations this year. The 2021 KCPE and KCSE will be held in March 2022. So the members of the media should stop labeling the examination we are releasing as 2021. That examination is being set now. The one that is being released is 2020. So even as you go ahead and discuss this, it is for the year which has not ended, which is 2020, which will end in July. In December 2022, we will administer another examination. Hopefully I will not be there, but we shall have planned for everything, so that whoever is going to take over from us should have a seamless effort. We had tried to avoid this, but I think since it is one country, and we must remember that the world is a stage, and when you are given a job, you don't get attached to it. You just do what you have to do and ensure that when you leave, whoever takes over can proceed on from there. That is the year that in December next year, that would be the year that we shall do the grade 6, the first grade 6 summative examination. As we are aware, His Excellency the President has sworn in a permanent secretary specifically to midwife the competency-based curriculum changes, the CBC, which basically means that this will be done without any problem. We are therefore about to come face to face with the historic examination system next year, which means that we must start preparing for the 5 examinations. I therefore wish to urge all our stakeholders, and especially those in the unions, to very kindly work with us as they have done so in the past, and the multi-agency team on the examination to tighten their belts and to prepare to confront the 5 impending examinations. Yet, I know rising up to such challenges is the team's stock in trade, and therefore it shall be done. The government, through the Ministry of Education, has opened the door to applications for the government's 9,000 odd scholarships under the Elimu Scholarship Program. This program started in 2019 and was originally meant for 110 sub-counties. But again, through the wisdom of His Excellency the President, we expanded it to children in urban slums and informal settlements. And I have since then learned that the greatest number of poor children in this country reside in those areas. The application is ongoing. I would like to encourage everybody who feels it should be considered to apply. We are being assisted here by Dr. James Mwangi, who has a track-proven record of administering such scholarships. The value is 2.5 billion for another 9,000, and we are hoping that 30% of this will go to urban slum children and children in informal settlements. During the 2020 KCSE examinations, 747,161 candidates sat for the examination compared to 697, 222 of the previous year. This represented an increase of 6.6%, equivalent to 49,939 candidates. Of the 7,167 candidates who sat for the 2020 examinations, 380,327 were male, while 366,834 were female, representing 50.90 and 49.10. That is gender parity as far as I am concerned. And we wish to thank the government of His Excellency President Kenyatta for achieving gender parity, because we have had continuously more and more girls coming to sit for examinations. As a matter of fact, in 15 counties, more females enrolled than males. And the 15 counties are Taita Taveta, Kwale, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Kirinyaga, Murang'a, Kiambu, Machakos, Kitui, Nandi, Meru, Elgeyo Marakwet, Kakamega, Vihiga, and Kisumu. The counties with a high gender disparity in favor of the male include Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Turkana, and Homa Bay. When I looked at these figures very closely, except for Homa Bay, there was almost 1-to-2 disparity. And therefore, I'm going to instruct the field officers in these counties to find out what is happening to the girls there. Are they marrying them too early and covering up under culture? And if that is so, we must bust it and make sure the girls go to school. Marriage can wait at least for another 4 years. I have also asked the Director of Quality Assurance, Dr. Stand so that they see, because people keep asking Quality Assurance. This is the Director of Quality Assurance. And she has capacity of sleeping inside a marking center for 48 hours. What nonsense are you looking for? Please sit down. Quality Assurance standards to investigate the cause of low female candidates. You know, so some people want bodies who cannot do the work. I identified Dr. Gaturu from the fields. Nobody introduced me to her. And I was not even a minister then. I was just an ordinary chair of NEC. Turkana County had the highest number of overage candidates, while Bungoma County had the highest number of underage candidates. The underage candidates are the ones who are 16 and below. But excuse me, please, they have performed very well, so don't touch them. Subject performance in 20, don't hold a child back because the child is underage. You will see that they deserve, I'm going to show you soon. In the 2020 KCSE examination, 19 subjects recorded significant improvement in performance compared to 16 subjects of 2019. There was no significant change in 2 subjects. There were 893 A-planes. There were 893 candidates who scored A-planes, which is 0.1%, as compared to 627, which compared to 0.09, 2019. This is one of the clearest indicators, ladies and gentlemen, that the candidates have performed at par, if not better, compared to 2019. Despite the negative effects of COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, the number of candidates with minimum university entry qualification, which is grade C+ and above, rose to 143,140, representing 19.03%, compared to 125,747, representing 18% in 2019. The message here is this: all the remaining candidates are eligible to join TVET institutions, teacher training centers, medical training colleges, and other tertiary learning institutions at various levels, from artisan to degree level. There's a table which will show you the distribution. and I don't have to go through them because you will see them. Our candidates with special needs, there were 223 candidates with special needs have obtained C+ and above. And I think I should take time, because since they are special needs, let me just take time to this is an improvement as compared to the 127 of last year, which was 7.6%. The most improved candidates, and the message we want to give here, there's this myth which is totally misplaced. Like right now I have over 5,000 requests. They all want to go to 3 schools, 3 male and 3 female, and I look at it and I just laugh. Yet there are students who have scored below 200, and they are going to university from sub-county schools. And I think you will allow me to show you how the so-called children who had flopped have passed well enough to join universities, from universities or TVET, because now even a student with A can choose to go and do a TVET course where he is sure he will get a job tomorrow. And I want to start with one who is from a sub-county school. The name is Cheriot Bet Dennis, Kimargis Secondary School. The sub-county school is somewhere in the country. He has moved from 190 to a B-, so he's assured comfortably of a university space. The next one is Maluti Tom Miti, from ordinary 199, and he's got a B- also, from St. Teresa's Secondary School in Bikeke, the sub-county school. The fourth one is Kipis Soimit Charity, from 150, actually 151 in primary school, to C+, from a sub-county school. The fourth one is Sadera Sempeyo Shalvin, from Oldekesi Secondary School, 168 to a B-. The other hero or heroine is Kamar Abdullahi Jamale, 163, from Habaswein Mixed Secondary School, so Habaswein Mixed Day Secondary School. It's a sub-county school. The other sub-county school is Sololo Pamari Joseph, Oldekesi Secondary School, is a sub-county. Then there are 1 or 2 extra-county schools where we have Hassan Abdullahi Osman, Wayam Secondary School is an extra-county school. And the message here, ladies and gentlemen, is very clear. This, I don't know whether to call it madness or lack of knowledge, that you must go to the Panganis and Kenya high schools of this world. It is our duty as government to ensure that we nurture all the children, even those who will not have performed well. We must still give them, including the ones with E. We must give them an opportunity, because that E does not mean failure. Before CBC takes root, we must ensure that these children are given an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the most improved schools based on the mean KCSE grades, and here we have been open to identify the most improved schools. In the same spirit, ladies and gentlemen, of illustrating schools that can add value to students, I now name schools that admitted students with KCPE mean scores that did a commendable job in improving them. And they include extra-county, county and sub-county schools. The first one is Kayaga Girls School, somewhere in Meru, which is an extra-county school, which improved the KCPE index of 22.38 to 73.98 this year. St. Joseph's Girls Kitale improved from 21.22 to 71.57. Kisasi Secondary School, and incidentally, this is the school I want to take that child who was abandoned. I will personally go and look for him and admit him there and get him a scholarship. This Kisasi Secondary School has improved from 20.48 to 68.26. Oriwo Boys is an extra-county school with which I am very familiar, and they have improved from 31.07 to 78.72. And I could go on and on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just continue. Rio Kindo is a school that I have visited. KCP index of 18.87 up to 65. St. Joseph's Rapogi, which is near Dr. Juan's house, is an extra-county school from 31.112 to 77.78. And the first private, Light Academy, from 30.15 to 76.74. Sai Mixed Secondary School, which is a sub-county school. I'll just mention two sub-county schools and stop there. From 26.9 to 70. And Wiobiero Secondary School. I suspect that's also near Juan's house. 28 to 70. And finally, Chuka Boys, extra county, from 23 to 69. I could continue, but I think, ladies and gentlemen, you can see where we appreciate those schools. A lesson from this radical positive KCP improvement recorded by candidates with low academic achievement at KCP level is that the government's 100% transition, which is now in its third year, has allowed all candidates to progress to secondary school, and you can see is becoming a major palpable game changer. You are no longer safe hoping that, if you are in Kisasi, therefore you are not going to go to any university. That is where the river used to be before. So we are taking the river back to its course. And I think God should be praised for this. If we can sustain this policy over the years, then we stand a chance of saving many academic lives of poor children who otherwise would have been lost because of corruption and what have you. Now, and I'm sure this is what we are waiting for, the top candidate this year is from Muranga High School. The index is 87.334. We thank God he's a male. The name is Simiyu Robinson Wanjala. The second one is again from a non-entity called Agoro Sare High School, somewhere. The mean is 87.173. The name is Wasonga Alan Udoma. The third one now follows the normal tradition. Sharon Chepngeno Terer, female, 87.173, the Kenya High School. You can see even you are clapping more. The fourth one, I will read all the 15. Moriasi Rob Ongare, 87.139, Alliance High School. The fifth one, Mbogwa Esther Washosho, 87.113, the Kenya High School. The sixth one, Kipkoech Mark Kogo, 87.106, Alliance High School. The seventh one, Kenneth Oranga, 87.049, Kapsabet Boys. The eighth one is Henry Madaga, 87.046, Maranda High School. The ninth one, Chepkorir Patience, 87.046, Kenya High School. Number 10, Musomba Edith Kitei, 87.013, Machakos Girls High School. That is the genuine one, eh? The 11th one, Leslie Lois Wanjiku, the Kenya High School. Number 12, Pylron George, 86.970, Kapsabet Boys. Number 13, Kibrono Howard, Maranda High School. Number 14, Jelimo Debra, 86.947, Kenya High School. And number 15 and last, Buluma Daisy Nerima, 86.938, the Kenya High School. Ladies and gentlemen, the under-16s, these are the special ones who are 16 years and below. The first one is Musomba. So this Musomba, who is on the top 15, is actually under 16 from Machakos Girls. It should be clapped for properly. Makanda Nicole Pialson from Alliance High School is also here, 86.7. The third one is Mutabari Frank Mogambi, Kapsabet Boys. The fourth one is Kipto Gertrude Jeruto, St. Joseph's Chepterit. The fifth one is Kiplangat Gerald, 85.7 from Alliance High School. The sixth one is Craig Onyancha Moturi, 85.6, Mangu High School. You see why I was telling you not to touch these children. The seventh one is Kimunye Dennis Washira, Alliance High School, 85.6. The eighth one is Bill Clinton Jefferson. Wow. And he is from Maranda, so he must be coming from around that area. The ninth one is Isaboke Janet Kemunto, Asumbi Girls, 84.9. The 10th one, Moturi Zeth Ongubo, 84.9. Kagumo High School. For those of you who don't know Kagumo, we are returning back to the river. That's where the brains are. The 11th one is Gateru Sophia Wamboi, Siakago Girls High School, 84.8. 12th, Kitimbo Kefa Kato, Oloitoktok Secondary School, Namungu Asifiwe. Number 13, Rono Sharon Chepkogei, 84.6, Moi Girls Eldoret. 14, Jaden Angela, 84.6, Alliance Girls. And 15 and last, Monda Daniel, Mangu High School. So age is just but a number. That's why you still see me very active. Overall special needs candidates, again, the top special needs person is Kikemboi Miriam Chepleting, 84.8, and A, Moi Girls High School, Eldoret. Getugi Edgar Omoke, 83.566, the score of an A-plane, Kisi High School. Nabat Nyariki Ongubo, 81.4, Nyambari High School, somewhere in, Nyambari is in Nyamira. Victor Kiplangat, 80.3, A-, M-Pesa Foundation. Give them a big clap. Warwinge Prudence Nyambura, 80.3, St. Anne Secondary School, Lioki. Onyango David Omondi, Maranda High School, 80.3. These are special needs children. You should be clapping for them. If you saw them, how they suffer to do exams, they are not like normal people. Well, they are able differently, isn't it? Kialo Francis Mutune, 80.3, Makweni Boys. That's better. Wino Vason, Kianda High School, somewhere. A-, 80.2. Mwangi Jabes Mwanja, Muranga High School, once again, 80.6, A-. Nganga Wycliffe Ndiki, 80.162, Aquinas High School. Ominde Moses John, 80.1, A-, Maranda High School. Zomo Gloria, 79.3, Moi Girls, Nairobi, A-. 13, don't worry, these are the heroines. I must treat them all, and you have to wait. Mwangi Caroline Wanjugu, 78.18, Mahiga Girls. Number 14, Kebira Nyakoi Zakaria, 78.019, Friends Kamusinga. That is another school, water is coming back to its level. It's a good school that was submerged by corruption. Museti Stanley, this is the last one. SA High School for the Blind, A-, 77. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll say something about irregularities. Because of the benefactor and wisdom of His Excellency the President, this year we have not cancelled results from any school, but we discussed with him this morning. As we go through forensic activities, we may actually recall results if we find that there was an organized crime. You had CEO, the CEO of Teacher Service Commission saying that the forensic activities are ongoing. But for now, to cut a long story short, we have cancelled results, very few indeed, from only a total of 287 individuals where we had enough proof that they were very cheeky, having been told. And you can see out of the 287, 211 of them had unauthorized materials in the examination room, including those who wore white shirts and wrote. It's very funny. A child takes time to write in the shirt on both sides. So you see them opening and checking inside. Do you understand? Mobile phones were 45, and you have heard from the CEO, Teacher Service Commission, how cheeky they can be. And let me re-emphasize here, for the avoidance of doubt, that those examination papers are actually security papers. So when you open them, like the teacher who has been jailed, he doesn't know how we caught him. But we shall know once you click on the paper and send it to others. We shall know where that paper was opened, at what time, and in which office. And therefore, I hope he stays in jail for 4 years to scare the others. Impersonation, collusion, and double scripts. These candidates are very lucky, because otherwise we would have perhaps cancelled about exams from about 20 other schools. But like I've said, we have given the benefit of doubt, and as we continue to check the results, for now they'll get their results. But if we find a very compelling one, we shall go and appeal to His Excellency so that we can actually cancel that result, because that is cheating. I want to complete by talking about female candidates who sat for the KCPE examination in hospitals. As I celebrate, I also want to castigate our parents in the most severe term possible. That our bodies, which we were given by God through His mercy and grace, are temples of the Holy Spirit. And when the hormones are starting to misbehave in your child, by that time you should have told your child how to control the body. In any case, total of a staggering 652 female candidates sat for KCSE examination in hospitals after delivery. They sat successfully and they have got their results. Counties that had the highest number of candidates who sat their examination in hospitals after delivery, the highest is Bungoma. And I want to challenge my PS, my distinguished PS, His Excellency Ambassador Nabukwesi.
charging you to help me, since we are working together, that at 43, we would want to find out what is happening at that level. And since this is one government, that's why even though he's in the university sector, we are going to work together. I will also get involved there. We must get to the root cause, Dr. Katuru. Why? Who is it that is hoodwinking our children? Can we persuade the parents to work with us so that you tell the child what to expect and not to spare the rod in the house, not in the school. The moment I say in the school, they will kill me. In the house, unaweza chuna masikio, hakuna mtu ataona. The next county is Meru with 38, Nakuru with 36, Kisii, where the chair of NEC currently comes from. And on that, you have other duties to do. And Nandi, a Chariot. Even though you are from Kericho, it's near there. We may need your action. We have noted the number of cases of candidates sitting examinations upon delivery went up in 2020, showing that the long school closure may have contributed. Let me now plead to my daughters and granddaughters who receive their results for the primary school exam, that as they wait to join Form 1 in July, let them have something to do. Let parents help them. We are going to continue to work with my brother and friend, Fred Okengo Matiang'i, right down to the chiefs. And I was instructed to track down these girls and to make sure they are not loitering around and being cheated with sweets and what have you. The stories you hear about sanitary pads in primary schools is fake. The government of His Excellency the President this year spent 490 million shillings. And we gave packets for 9 months. And we are sure that the packets reached, because even we worked together with the parliamentary group, they monitored. Now the challenge is now in the front line at home. Now, I don't know, Dr. Mutua, whether you have an answer to that one, because if a girl comes home with a package for 9 months and there are 2 other females in the house, how do we protect our girls? So this is work in progress, and it is social. And instead of throwing the mud back at government, can we find a solution from the family front? The ministry will work with all relevant government departments to ensure that we focus on the worst hit counties, like I've said. More importantly, I want to urge parents and guardians to do more than ever before to talk to your child. Your child does not need money. Your child needs your time and wisdom. Does it mean that the girls who are there during my time were animals? Were they not human beings? They carried themselves with dignity because the parents did their work. As you go to look for money to feed the children, can you also spare a bit of time, please, to talk to your girls? They will listen to you. Now, in order to access your results, ladies and gentlemen, candidates should therefore collect their results from their respective examination centers. Individual candidates can also access by sending candidate's index number followed by initial KCSE through short messages SMS to 20076. This service will be available immediately after this event. It is now my humble duty and privilege to declare the KCSE examination results officially released. I wish all candidates success in their future endeavors. And if by the grace of God I am here for the next examination, it will be through grace and mercy of God. Because we must take life easy. those who have died of COVID are not greater than myself. I'm much greater than myself. And if we are able to see tomorrow, and we continue in this capacity, it can only be through the grace of God. So, in the event that I'm still here, we shall continue. If I'm not here, the grace must still go to God for His most infinite mercies. Now, where is the... Social distance, come by.
Asante sana waziri. I now take this opportunity to ask Madam Imelda Barasa to move a vote of thanks. Madam Imelda.
Thank you very much, our Master of Ceremony, our Honorable CS, our most valued invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is now my humble pleasure to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion of releasing the 2020 KCSE results. On behalf of the Kenya National Examinations Council and the entire fraternity of education stakeholders gathered here today, I would like to pass a vote of thanks to all speakers and guests for gracing this occasion. A big thank you to our chief guest, Professor George Magoha, our Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Education, for gracing today's function. Thank you, sir, for the firm and steadfast leadership. And through your remarks, we have learned that we have to take the river back to its course. Ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me that our CS has an indomitable spirit. Can we give him some rounds of applause? Allow me to mention our deep sense of appreciation for the CEO Teacher Service Commission, Dr. Nancy Macharia, for having spoken with passion about the commitment to service and selflessness of the teaching fraternity. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate that she has taken a transformative agenda for the Teacher Service Commission, and I'm sure as NEC, we're also going to benefit a lot from the biometric registration that will be undertaken for all the teachers. Another round of applause for her. We appreciate the fact that the teachers are the engine and cornerstone behind all our examination processes, and they have led to the output of today's results. I wish to express our gratitude to all our distinguished guests. The Chief Administrative Secretary is present, the Principal Secretary is present, the CEOs of our sister sagas present, the Director General, State Department of Education. To presence of the IG's office, Commissioner Picho, who is here and has worked tirelessly with us. Another round of applause for him.
All right, there you go. And the results are out. The official 2020 KCSE examinations are out, and celebrations, elations across the country as individuals that have performed well, schools that have performed well are up in high gear to celebrate this moment. Of course, top of the students, Emil Robinson Wanjala, who scored a maximum of 87.334 from Muranga High School. alongside numerous other students, of course, being given details of the top 15. Coming second with Songa Alan, who scored a minimum of 87.173 points. Sharon Terrer, who comes at number 3 with 87.173, of course, from Kenya High. And we also have Muriasi, who's from Alliance, scoring 87.139. Top 5, or the 5th student across the country, Mbogwa Esther, scoring 87.119 from Kenya High, and numerous others. Of course, the CS for Matters Education articulating on the performance of this year's, or last year's, that is 2020 examinations, that is the KCSE examinations, also highlighting that it's important to note that these results are for 2020, and therefore 2021 examinations will be conducted somewhere in March 2022, and another examination anticipated to be conducted in December 2022 that will now be of the 2022 examinations. And so we are following up on that to see how, of course, they plan on the same. But just to pick on the key performers and the numerous categories that the CS for Education has highlighted on, the aspect of most improved, that is most improved students and most improved schools. And most improved students, Muluki, who got 199, and of course that is back then from what it is that they scored in KCSE, coming up to a B minus. And of course there's one Sadera Shavin Oledeski, who got 100, who had 168 back in class 8 and scored a B minus. Kamar Abdullahi, who had 166, and a couple of others that have been mentioned. Most improved schools, Kaaga Girls is the most improved school, of course, so far in this year's results, up from 22.38, that is last year, coming to 73.98, followed by St. Joseph Kitale, up of course to 1.22, that is from 1.22. Kisasi School, that should be somewhere in Kitui, getting 68.26, up from 20.4. Ringo Boys getting 78.72, up from 31.7, that is 0.07 in 2019. And St. Joseph Rapogi equally up to 77.78. I have mentioned the top students up there. Simiu Robinson Wanjala getting 87.334, of course Simiu from Muranga High School, and also mentioned the students who scored so well and are 16 years and below, the likes of Musomba Makanda Nicole from Alliance, Mugambi from Kapsabet, Kiplagat Gerard, Onyancha Muturi, who got an 85.68. Mangu, of course, will be painting a picture of the numbers as we continue with the broadcast, and also pinpointing on those one on the special needs category and highlighting the importance of equally celebrating, acknowledging the fact that they are differently challenged. Kipkemoi, Miriam from Migori, that is Eldoret, and students from Kisii, Nyambarani, all of course mentioned on this particular list. And students who probably sat, or not probably actually, they sat for examinations while in hospital. All these are hugely categorized by the fact that, some of them had, just given birth, some of them, had gone for maternity and all that, and pinpointing Bungoma as carrying the highest number of students who worked or who did their examinations while in hospital. Meru County, Nakuru County, which holds 36, and Kisii County, and equally Nandi County, well, calling upon parents to be active in the lives of their children in terms of giving them guidance and taking them through to understand the importance of being keen, especially at this point, just getting to them to understand how it is for them to be careful and take care of themselves. Of course, he hugely pinpoints or hugely blames this scenario of early pregnancies on parents, saying that most of the parents are always busy and not focusing much on being engaged in the lives of their own students. Of course, our category of irregularities, and some of the examinations that were cancelled. He says that this year, in the wisdom of the president, they considered not to, cancel results of particular schools. But then again, individuals, 287 individuals got their results cancelled on basis of having an authorized material in their exam room, on basis of having mobile phones. 45 mobile phones were taken from the students, the aspect of impersonation, and therefore 287 results were cancelled with enough reasons or enough proof, as well said or as well articulated. A couple of other things that have played out, and therefore we are having our very own Sharon Baranga, who's our education's reporter, live from Mitihani House here in Nairobi, where these examinations were disseminated, so that she can keep us on the loop on the exact numbers and the key things that probably we might have missed on. Sharon, if you can hear me.
Thank you, Linda. And the KCSE 2020 results have just been released by Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha, and Simiyu Robinson Wanjala from Murang'a High School is the top candidate this year. And of notable, one of the things that is notable from the just released KCSE results is the fact that Kenya High School has approximately, I think Kenya High School has 6 candidates out of the 15 candidates that CS Magoha just mentioned. 6 candidates out of Kenya High School scored A's. And this could mean that Kenya High School could be the top school in this KCSE 2020 results. Overall, we have 893 candidates who scored A's, and over 143 candidates scored C+ and above. One of the things that the chairman of the Kenya National Examination Council advised candidates is that they should not focus on the results that they have received, but they should focus on the pathways that they are going to choose afterwards. This is after they receive their results. And we had a number of attempted examination malpractices during the time when the exams was being administered. And we have we don't have a school that has had their results cancelled, but we have candidates, individual candidates who are not going to receive their results. And these are 287 candidates from different examination centers who are not going to be able to receive their results. And this is because they were found with items that are not items that were not allowed in examination rooms. For example, 45 mobile phones were confiscated during the time when candidates were sitting their examinations. Apart from that, the CS also spoke at length about concerning the number of candidates who delivered babies during the examination period. And Bungoma County has been put on the spotlight as one of the counties that is leading in the number of candidates that delivered during the examination period. Currently, apart from that, one of the things that was also notable is the fact that the examination, the 2021 national examinations will be administered in March 2022, and we're also going to have another examination being administered in December 2022. Now those are just some of the issues that came up during the release of the 2020 results. And right now, Karibu. Okay, I was just trying to invite a guest to speak to us on air, but she has decided to just go. But those are some of the pointers that we received from the KCSE 2020 results. Back to you, Linda.
Thank you so much, Sharon Baranga. I'm sure the education desk is actively focused on getting this comprehensive detail of the release of the 2020 KCSE examinations. Just to pinpoint on some of the key things that Sharon might have left out, 747,161 students sat for these examinations, 380,327 male, 366,834 who female. And of course, in 15 counties, female were most, the likes of Taita Taveta, Nyandarua, Nyeri, Machakos, Nandi, and a couple of them that have been mentioned, and male, who had a majority of course, male students. These counties are Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, Turkana, Homa Bay, and others. Of course, an overall of Turkana had, students who were over age, and students who were underage. A majority were in Bungoma, and therefore we'll be following up closely to make sure that you get updates on the same. The CS maintains that every other student is going to be catered for. Out of the 747, 161, they all have opportunities across, and of course help loans available for them to make sure that they boost their ability to progress to other stages, and therefore students are encouraged to apply for universities, of course TVET colleges, and make sure that they progress with matters education. Also pinpointing at this point where we have the coming in of the competency-based curriculum and the aspect of that rollout of class 5 for grade 5, and therefore he says across all the students will have their rollout done at the same time, encouraging individuals that have equally sat for these KCSE examinations to apply for scholarships that are available. About 2.5 billion shillings set aside to make sure that they cater for this. 30% to go to urban regions, of course, or the disadvantaged settlements in the urban regions, and a couple of other things also that have been touched on. Just a reminder on what is set to happen for students to sit for the 2021 examinations. Theirs are, this is slated for March 2022, and also a possibility of another examination somewhere in December 2022. He says that in as much as their likelihoods, he might not be there, he might not be in office alongside his team, they will make sure that they the stage set for the individuals that will oversee the same come 2022. On the aspect of subjects and performance, 19 subjects have recorded significant improvement. 16 have gone low, and about 2 that really did not register so much of significance change. Of course, we're having 893 students having A or scoring an A, C plus and above. We're having about 143,140 students, up from 125 students, 747 in 2019. Also pinpointing on the special needs and how they have also registered a magnificent upgrade on the same. And therefore we have more reactions from Mitihani House, and I'll loop you live so that we also get to hear what is in store, the reactions, the celebrations. Like Sharon has rightfully pinpointed a couple of schools that have done so well, and there you go.
Exam sent to the parents would administer the exam, mark the exam, and send the results to us. So we made sure that the parents have gotten involved, and they were very cooperative, because some of them were even marking subjects like art and design, computer, and they would mark Kiswahili, which are quite technical, but they never complained. And every time they would have, they even would provide their time for the girls. And the girls who are coming from humble background, I remember the parents bought over 7 mobile phones and sent to the respective students with the hair time. So we would follow where the child is and ensure that she's not left out.
Talk to your students this afternoon and the parents. What would you tell them?
I want to encourage the entire school community, our students, one, to continue believing in God, because He's the key for everything. And keep on trusting on God, and that whatever grades that we have gotten, we thank God for them. We congratulate these girls, and we want to encourage the other students to even do better than them. So we want to keep on telling them to keep on doing better and better and better.
Thank you.
Thank you. Asante. Rola Monanje. Flora. Rola. Rola is Yeah, Monanje.
Well, the principal of Kenya High, that is Flora Mulatia, they are exhibiting the celebrations and the joy that they have having, about 6 out of the 15 top students emanating from Kenya High. And as Sharon well articulated, this then paints a picture of a possible, scenario where Kenya High would be the top school in the country. Remember, all this being compiled, Sharon is working out to make sure that you are well updated and kept abreast as to the results of the 2020 KCSE examinations. And we still maintain at that point where we speak of the top students, Simiyu Robinson Wanjala from Murang'a High, and the third student from Kenya High. That's the reason why I told you a majority of them have actually come from Kenya High. Fifth student equally from Kenya High, and very many others. The 10th student is equally from Kenya High. The likelihoods of them being the top school pretty much high, and we are trying to get a hold of the top student, that is Simiyu Robinson Wanjala, to keep us abreast as to what he feels right now. I know it's so much celebrations back at home in his school, that is in Murang'a High School, as of course upon receiving this great news. The majority of students, we're speaking of students who've gotten or have scored an A, that is 893 students have managed to get a hold of or to score A-, and we also have, A, that is constant, and we also have C+ and above students standing at 143,140 up from 125,747, that is in 2019. And so we have a couple of categories and pinpointing of the key points that are, have registered significant improvement. We're looking at different schools, the likes of different students who've also shown a tremendous improvement from, of course, what they scored in KCPE and all the way to KCSE. And now we have the top student, that is Simiyu Robinson Wanjala from Murang'a High School, who scored a minimum of 87.334. He joins us via phone to just probably paint a picture of what the feeling is like. Simiyu, if you can hear me, Jambo.
Jambo, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very fine.
Yes. Is this Simiyu or the dad?
This is Simiyu, the dad.
This is the dad. Oh, Simiyu, the dad. And now we have Robinson Wanjala, right?
Yes, yeah, Robinson.
All right. How does it feel like, Papa? How does it feel like to even imagine that now officially your son has been named as the top student?
Honestly, I'm excited. I really thank God, and I thank all the support I received from all the teachers, and for Robin for being so focused on what he wanted to achieve. So personally, I'm feeling very, very happy and excited. We are unable even to take our lunch. We knew he would do well, but the least we expected was for him to be at the top of the country. So I'm feeling very proud as a dad, and just looking forward to what he'll achieve again in the future.
All right. Well, congratulations to you. You say you expected that he would be top or amongst the top?
He would. I expected him to be at least among the top 10.
Well, this is based on your observation of his previous performances?
Of his performances and what the teachers were seeing, because he was giving a huge margin to the others. He was always averaging around 90, 87. So I knew he would get something at least among the top 10.
All right. Well, it was a difficult and unique year, that is 2020, having students back at home, quite a long session without them being in school. How was it like for you, and what kind of support did you have to just give to make sure that you push him to being the top performer?
To be honest, it wasn't easy. I felt very discouraged when COVID set in, and then the education was stopped for some time. But then I encouraged myself, and he encouraged, like he's the one who encouraged me more and said, it's not affecting only me, everyone else in the Republic and even the whole world. So Murang'a High School started online classes, and what he asked was just for facilitation. So I got him a tablet, and I made sure that he was attending all the online classes to a class. He also had a very specific timetable, and his room, so he was always focused from 8. He had his own plans from 8. He would break a bit, then he would do something else. So he remained very focused and steady. So I knew at the end of the day, when the exams are done, will definitely do. And what he was telling me was, don't worry, it will happen. When we get there, we'll definitely make it. So here we are.
All right. Well, congratulations once again. I'd request for us to have a moment with the man of the day. That is Robinson Wanjala.
Yes, you can. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Robinson, how are you? Robinson?
Hey.
Jumbo, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel like?
It's an amazing feeling, actually.
Right?
Yeah, one I did not expect, but I'm just overjoyed.
Papa says that you constantly reminded him that you were not the only person who's being affected, with this, and he equally pinpoints the fact that you were active on online classes. How was it like acknowledging the fact that some students did not get that privilege?
It was not very, but finally, I just knew I had to keep going. Yeah, I did not give up.
You expected this?
I expected to perform well, but not to this extent actually.
All right, future plans. What do you want to be, or what is this one thing that you've always dreamt of being?
I've always dreamt to be Hello?
Yes, hello, I can hear you.
Yeah, I've always dreamt to be a surgeon and hopefully specialize in cancer as an oncologist.
So eyes on the prize, or you're changing your desire? Because you say you've always wanted to be that. Sometimes people change somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
You stick to the prize, yeah? All right, so COVID came and, well, I think we have lost Simu there, probably because of the problems of the network, but not to worry. We will try to get a hold of him as we proceed. We definitely say congratulations to him, and we're grateful that he could find time to speak to us. Simu Robinson Wanjala, top student in the country, KCSE examinations 2020 from Muranga High School, and we are also trying to get a hold of other students. Yes, Kenya High has performed pretty well with a couple of students, around 6 topping, the list of amongst the top 15 students. And we've spoken to Flora Mulati, and of course the pictures that you can see on screen right now, Kenya High, the possibility of it being the top school, pretty much high based on the numerous numbers that we've seen of top performing students across the list, of course, at number 15. Carrying about 6 from this particular school, and we've spoken to the principal, Flora Mulata, who has equally exhibited so much joy and says that it was quite a tough moment coming from that year of COVID-19. As teachers, as students, as parents, they all had to work together towards making sure that indeed the students got a chance to perform well despite those difficult moments. And remember, we started by acknowledging that indeed it has not been easy for a majority of students. We've seen very many of them having registered, but then again, were not lucky enough to sit for the examinations. The ramifications of COVID-19, the difficulties that have come along with the tough terrains that they reside, the likes of students in Baringo also experiencing the floods to a point where they were not able to sit for the examinations. Huge numbers of teenage pregnancies as also pinpointed right there, and a majority of students sitting their examinations while in hospital. Of course, Bungoma topping the list, Meru standing at 38, Nakuru having 36 students, the likes of Kisii and Nandi, CS Magoha challenging the parents to speak to their children, to create time to have sessions with their children and actively get involved in their lives, so that at least we see whether we can reduce these cases of huge cases of teenage pregnancies, and also students engaging in terrible behaviors, the likes of drug abuse, and so much more. Also pinpointing on the most improved schools, the most improved students based on what it is that they scored when they were in, sitting for KCPE and coming all the way to, sitting for the KCSE examinations. The top of them all is Maluki, who got a B- up from, scoring 199 when he sat for his KCPE examinations. And also top schools, or the most improved schools, Kaga Girls in Meru County, which had 73.98, that is up from 22.38 in 2019. St. Joseph Kitale registering a huge level of improvement. Kisasi School, that is in Kitui County, 68.26, up from 20.4. Oringo Boys also registering an improvement, getting 78.72, up from 31.07. And also St. Joseph's in Rapogi. And also pinpointing some of the students whom he said should not be, he uses this word, don't disturb them, don't, stop them from proceeding on to the next level of life, because in as much as they are quite young, they have exhibited great performance. Musomba, Makanda Nicole of Alliance, the likes of Mugambi, Kiplagat Gerard, and, having or exhibiting brilliant performance, and therefore he argues they should be allowed and should be given a leeway to proceed to the next level. And speaking of proceeding to the next level, he says that the government is committed to making sure that no student out of the 747,161 who sat for these examinations will miss out a chance to progress in life, courtesy of the university positions that are set, TVET positions that are set. Yes, the colleges that are open and they have the capacity to be able to incorporate all these students. He argues that the HELB loans are available to make sure that they boost their ability to progress to other stages, and they are available across to the public university and also the private entities. Competence-based curriculum, the coming in and the rollout project, especially for students who are crossing to grade 5, he says is something that will be done across the schools, all the schools in the country, be it public or private schools, and therefore has also called upon individuals to take advantage of the scholarships available, about 2.5 billion shillings set aside to make sure that students are able to be catered for, especially who are the students who are coming from, families that are not in the best of state, and yes, those ones that are in the urban region and the poor settlements or disadvantaged settlements, getting at least 30% of the 2.5 billion that is at hand to make sure that these students are able to get that boost. So much relations across different parts, and remember that you can as well send that SMS short code 220076 to be able to get to know how your candidate has performed, or how your student or this particular person that is probably your child, a friend, the family has performed. It's pretty much simple. You send that SMS short to that SMS short code, and then you are allowed to get to know how your child has performed. So make sure that you take advantage of that. And once again, we go all the way to Kenya High. We have our very own reporter Andreen Kilemi on standby, education's reporter, to keep us up to tabs as to what the mood is like in Kenya High. Andreen.
Ambia ndio kuja na hii gizelari na nivuta nyuma. Kuja.
Kuja. Lisa. Kuja. Vuruta hiki tu.
Live pictures from Kenya High, one of the schools that has really performed well in this year's examination, or in the 2020 KCSE examinations, taking up the top, or generally being amongst the top schools, and having number 3 across the country. Student getting or coming from Kenya High, Sharon Terrer, who scored a minimum of 87.173, and she's the top student in Kenya High, amongst others also who've been named alongside the ones that were able to garner great points and scoring a minimum of A. That is about 6 of the 15 best students in the country emanating from Kenya High. Remember, we still are taking up tabs as to what really has played out in the 2020 KCSE examinations, and we're having a majority of students who scored an A, standing at 893, C+ and above. About 143,140 students have been able to get C+ and above, one that is being considered as a minimum mark to getting to university. And also we have them, registering a great, improvement in comparison to what happened in 2019, where, about 125,747 students got this minimum grade that we are speaking about. And of course, looking at students with special needs, also pinpointing on the great improvements that they have also registered this year. A couple of them mentioned here, Kipemboy Miriam being amongst the first students, under the special needs category. From Moi Girls, Eldoret, scoring the best of marks, and a couple of others that have been, mentioned right there. To note that also some irregularities were registered, but this year no school has been cancelled. Examinations of, like, no school has, been cancelled based on the results that have been, presented. But then we have individuals, 287 of them, who've had their results cancelled. This on basis of course, enough proof that emanates from the fact that the Ministry of Education pinpointed a couple of these issues, that is, having students, about 211 of them, getting into the exam room with unauthorized kind of material. And we also have about 45 mobile phones that was taken or were taken from the students, and the aspect of impersonation also played out in this, and therefore these individuals have had their examinations cancelled on basis of that. And looking at this, some of the negatives, or generally also positives, so to speak. Remember, the argument was that no student would be closed or would be, locked off sitting for the examinations, or locked from school just because they probably got pregnant at this period of COVID-19. And indeed, numbers, or great numbers, quite high, registered that, showed that most of the girls, also got pregnant during this particular period. So the high numbers of teenage pregnancies were recorded in the country. Bungoma taking up the lead in terms of the students who sat for the examinations while in hospital. Mary at 38, Nakuru, Meru, that is 38, Nakuru 36, Kisii and Nandi. And we again try and get a hold of our very own education's reporter, Andrin Kilemi, who's coming to us live from the Kenya High School to keep us up to tabs as to how the alations and the celebrations are ongoing. Andrin.
All right, thank you so much, Linda. As you can see, celebrations are underway here at the Kenya High School in Nairobi. Remember, these results were released just a few minutes ago by the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Professor George Magoha. This is the very first time that KCSE examinations are being released at this particular time. Remember, these exams were done between the month of March and April, and normally exams are done at the end of the year, but due to COVID-19 pandemic, this was not possible. These results are coming nearly 6 months later than the traditional announcement date of late December. Now, remember, during the release of these particular results, education stakeholders were able to state that approximately 747,000 candidates and above registered for the exams and sat for the 31 subjects that were done in the KCSE 2020 exam. Earlier on, CS Magoha had presented a report, a full document, as is tradition, to His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta. That was just an indication that results were ready, and it is the norm that the CS is required to give the report to the president before releasing these particular exams. Right here in Kenya High School, celebrations are underway. As you can see right now, the principal and other teachers, as well as parents of students who have done well, are here for celebrations. Kenya High was able to produce a student by the name Sharon, who scored an A plane. Her name is Sharon Terrer. Remember, some of the top candidates in the 2020 examinations include Simiyu Robinson Wanjala from Murang'a High School. We have Wasonga Adama, Sharon Terrer from this particular school that I am in, that is Kenya High School. Now, just an update, over 2 million students sat for exams for both KCPE and KCSE, and over 750,000 were able to do their 2020 KCSE examinations. Now, during the release of this particular results, CS Magoha was keen on noting that there were attempts of cheating, and about 14 persons who were taken in from different facilities having been linked up with exam malpractices. Now, CS Magoha had stated that the marking would be humane, bearing in mind that so many students were distracted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Others in Baringo are yet to know their fate because of the insecurity issues that are ongoing. There are areas that experienced flooding, and so Magoha was keen to note that the exam marking was considerate of all those issues. Now, Linda, we shall continue to follow up on the results. We shall continue to follow up on the celebrations here at Kenya High School, and we shall be updating our viewers in our subsequent bulletins.
you have done for this school.
Yes.
We waited upon you, King of Heaven.
Yes,
We
Lord.
trusted in you.
Yes,
We
Lord.
waited upon you.
Yes,
We
Lord.
prayed and we fasted.
Yes,
We
Lord.
also worked hard, King of Mighty,
Yes.
under the leadership of Madam Murati.
Yes.
And God, you are praying that you confirm the results.
Yes.
And you have done it. Thank you, God Almighty, for your faithfulness. Thank you for your faithfulness. Thank you for your faithfulness. We promise to give you all the glory and honor. And we give you all the glory. And we give you all the honor. These results are your results. These results are your results. Receive all the glory. Receive all the honor. God Almighty, we are humbled by what you have done. We say thank you.
Thank you.
We worship you, King of
Yes.
Heaven. There is no other God like you.
Yes.
There is no other God like
Yes.
you.
Hallelujah.
You are God and we worship you.
Yes.
We will continue to honor you.
Yes.
We will continue to humble ourselves.
Yes, Lord.
We will continue to dedicate ourselves to you.
Yes,
And we know, God, you walk with us.
Yes.
You are our Ebenezer.
Yes.
And you have brought us, oh God.
Yes.
And you take us far.
Yes,
In the
Lord.
name of Jesus.
Amen.
Tunakushukuru, tunakuamini.
Yes.
In Jesus' name we pray.
I want to dedicate this resource to God.
Amen.
God has done it for us.
Amen.
We give glory and honor to God.
Amen.
As Reverend has said, we fasted and we called upon God that He will do it for Kenya KCSE. And we thank God for that.
Amen.
I want to thank my colleague teachers, dedicated staff. You can see them here. Also supported by our school reverend, Reverend Judy Kamau. The year head, Madam was in charge of the class. I don't have class teachers. I am with my PTA chair, Dr. Ball. She's here with us. And the BOM chair, Canon Juki, who is with us. So we thank God. We thank the girls for having done so well. And we thank them for believing in us. We want to thank the parents. The parents over the long holiday when we had the pandemic, we involved them in exams, in teaching and everything. And they were ready. We would send the exams to them. They would invigilate, ensure there's integrity, send the results to us. When we want the girls for discussion, class discussion, they will also be there and ensure that the girls are there. When the girls came back, they listened to us. We told them it is not about the academic. It's about you as a person. So they believed in teachers. And the teachers held the girls. I want to use the word adopting. They adopted each and every student to give them the best, because we said they should not be disadvantaged with what is there. So I want to thank all the subject teachers, all the teachers of Kenya High School, all the matrons who are speaking to them in the houses, all the stakeholders, the non-teaching staff, everybody. I want to thank them, and the PTA for believing in us, for board for supporting us, Reverend praying for us, Madam Sova who did not relent, she was there for us. So thank you, Lord, and thank you to all the staff. I dedicate this resource to God and also to the Kenya High community, Kenya High fraternity. Teachers, you are great. You are great. PTA, you are great. You believed in us. Chairman, you believed in us, and you've come in time. Thank you so much, Reverend. You prayed all through. Sova, you also prayed for us. So thank you so much. Class teachers, congratulations. And to our parents, thank you, because they believed in us. They never doubted us, and we thank them. And the girls, every time we told them it is possible, you can do it and do even better. Actually, we told them that this extension, God has given you more time. So they believed in that and they worked very hard. We want to thank them. Thank you, Lord, and thank you to all of you. And to you media people, Asandeni, thank you so much.
So, Madam Principal, before I let you go, what are some of the challenges that you encountered as a school in the wake of this pandemic? And how did you mitigate this challenge to come up with this result?
I cannot say we faced any unique challenge, because we were with our girls all through. They came back, all of them. We worked with them. The school has a very strong support system, even for the parents who are not able. And the board, there's a endowment fund, there are parents who pay. The PHA is always there, so we never allowed any girl to be disadvantaged, and we don't allow that even from Form 1. So we made sure that every girl comes back to school and feels like another girl and comfortable to work hard. Yes.
From today's briefing from Kiani House, we've seen a number of girls did the exam actually after delivery. Were some of these?
No, we did not have. Kenya High, we did not have and we thank God. God protected us. God assured our girls. God gave discipline to our girls. So we did not have any case in the Kenya.
So how many candidates did you have?
294. Yes. We have sent for them.
Waiting for them. They are coming.
They are on the way. They are coming, and we thank them for making the school proud. Yeah, we kept on 2019. The school was position 1, and we told them to work hard and maintain those results. Confirm the result. And we pray to God that Lord help us to confirm the result. And they have done even better than 2019. Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Madam.
Thank you, Asante. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Live pictures Kenya High as they celebrate this great progress and great performance of their students. Their first student taking position 3 in the country, Sharon Terrer, with 87.173, and definitely the first student that is in Kenya High, alongside many other students who've emerged to be top amongst the top students on the KCSE examinations, that is 2020 KCSE examinations. I mean, the first student also from Murang'a High School taking 87.334, bagging 87.334. Simiu Robinson Wanjala, and celebrations, we've had a moment with him and the dad, and indeed it's quite a tremendous feeling, or so to speak. The key things to note, of course, is the fact that in this year's examinations, or in 2020 examination results, 893 students were able to score an A constant, and 143,140 were able to get a C+. That is up from 125,747 in 2019. Different categories pinpointed, as you know, those ones that have improved and the different subjects that have equally improved, and those ones that have gone low. Most improved school, Kaaga Girls in Meru County, scoring 73.98, up from 22.38 in 2019, and also the best student, or the one that has improved the most, who had 199 in the KCPE examinations and got a minimum of B-, also celebrating on this particular one. And we also have Musomba, who's topping the list of students who are 16 years and below, and numerous others. Of course, will be compiling this report to give you a comprehensive coverage and comprehensive, detailed report on the same. Remember, we have Sharon Baranga and Andrine Kilemi on standby and on ground to make sure that the education desk has all these details for you. We have our very own Mariam Mocharo from County 001, our studios at the coast, who will be taking up from me first to take you through the news of the day, but importantly also continue with the process of just looking at how it is that the students performed in the 2020 Kenya, that is KCSE examinations. And therefore I will take you all the way to the coast, where Mariam Mocharo is on standby. Mariam, if you can hear me, jambo.
Sijambo mwenzangu Linda Alela kutoka studio zetu za Nairobi. Bila shaka nimekuwa pia nikikusikiza mengi kuhusiana na mtihani wa KCSE ambao matokeo yake yameweza kutangazwa hapo awali. Mwenzangu Linda Alela, sijui na wewe hali yako ikoje uko uliko, na ninashangaa sana kukuona nyakati hizi katika studio zetu za Nairobi, lakini pengine ni hali ya hewa imekukataza kwenda nyumbani.
Sijui kama nitasema ni hali ya hewa, sijui kama unategemea nizungumze kwa Kiswahili, lakini nashukuru buheri wa afya. Tunasukuma gurudumu la kazi. Kwa kawaida unaambiwa kwamba kazi hii yetu haina muda, haina wakati wote unaweza ukaambiwa uko pale, basi hauna budi ila kufanya hilo. Kwa hiyo nashukuru, na pia tunashukuru kwa wale ambao wamefanya mitihani yao na tumepata results na imekuwa vizuri. Kwa hiyo langu ni kukuachia wewe, na nikitumai kwamba kesho nitakuwa na uwezo wa kuamka na kama kawaida kuja kuchapa kazi.
Asante sana Linda Alela, bila shaka ni kweli ulivyoweza kusema, kazi yetu hii haina mapumziko wala haina mtaji. Unapoambiwa kazi wakati ndo huu unakwenda mara moja. Na ndio hivyo sasa, tukifuatilizia baadhi ya mambo tu yaliyoweza kuzungumziwa katika matokeo ya mtihani wa KCSE, mpenzi mtazamaji, kote nchini aliweza kutangazwa na waziri wa elimu hapo awali Profesa George Magoha, ambaye pia aliweza kupigia upatu hususan sehemu tofauti humu nchini, kaunti tofauti. Na muhimu pengine vile ambavyo mimi nipo hapa Mombasa nipate kujua kwamba Profesa George Magoha ambaye ni waziri wa elimu aliweza kusema kwamba baadhi ya kaunti za humu nchini zimeweza kufanya bidii na vile zimeweza kusajili idadi kubwa ya watoto wa kike katika mtihani wa KCSE, na aliweza kutaja pale kaunti ya Kwale kama mojawapo ya kaunti ambayo zimeweza kusajili idadi kubwa ya watoto wa kike. Na hili ni jambo ambalo ni la kufurahisha na pia vile kusherekewa, manake kaunti za Mombasa, kaunti za Pwani zimeweza kusemeka kwamba watoto wa kike wanaolewa mapema. Hivyo basi jambo ama swala la kwamba watoto wa kike wameweza kusajiliwa kwa idadi kubwa kaunti ya Kwale ni la kusherekea.